What's up, everybody? It's OCD Mikey. I'm here for some more joy and fun with hi-fi. Okay, let me tell you what's going on here. Okay, so we got our this is my reference DAC, the Playback Designs MPD8. It's coming down here and it's feeding this Behringer Ultra Drive. Okay, and this is 24 Ultra Drive. I think it's Ultra Drive 2496. It's called. This is what I use when I am setting my crossover settings. So as you know, I use an active crossover and 3 amps or 4 amps per side. Well, one's the plate amp and then there's 3 others for the main speakers. This allows me to do crossover on the fly. So I can be listening to music and then changing the slopes, changing the point. See, it says type LR, so it's Linkwitz Riley 24, frequency 5.91K, and so the slope and the point. So I can go through and choose low, mid, and high, and then choose where my points are, and just on the fly I can change them. And while I can hear the changes, go back, run back to my seat, and so forth, and then until I get the crossover dialed. Once I get it totally dialed in, then of course I go over here and I solder up these little boards. I solder those frequency modules, depending on, you can see better here, depending on what frequencies I'll be doing and what slope, and so I have it all in the analog domain, because what this thing does is it takes a analog input, switches it to, or converts it to digital, then does its stuff, and then converts it back to analog. And so, I mean, I don't like that. And plus, it's a POS. It's kind of just like cheap. They're Guitar Center for like $240 or something. But it's a super handy tool if you're a speaker builder or whatever, because you can just do crossover on the fly while you're listening. So anyways, I wanted to put this in because even though we listened to the rig a couple days ago and it sounded phenomenal, I felt like there could be improvement made by putting a wider swath of frequency onto my mid-range than on that, and then free up that ribbon tweeter and give it less work to do, and then see how that sounded. And it actually turned out very good. The other thing I did was I went from 12 dB slopes in between the drivers to 24 dB on with this, and it sounds better. It sounds really killer right now. So I went from, okay, so here we did this last video. Okay, so over here, I'm going to just do this first so we can see. Okay, so we're not using this at all. Okay, that's turned off. We're using these, and we're using this. Okay, so the bottom of the woofer is 48, okay, and it's at a 24. And we go from 48 hertz. We were going to 697 or something like that, or 692, whatever. Now we're going to like 1300 hertz, and so we raised this up, and then we also raised the bottom of the mid up to the same, 13 or whatever, and then we took the mid from this one went up to 2480. And then we went to the tweeter. Now I've got the mid going up to like mid fives, like 5,500. And then the tweeter starting at 5,500 and going up to 20K. So it's now we've got a wider swath of mid here. And it just, you'll hear it. And we switched to 24s. Now, another cool thing to know that is that we're powering the whole panel, this three-way, with some of the smallest amps that I have. Okay, so we've got the Jeff Rowland right here. This is the 125. Not enough people pay attention to this amp. This thing is kick ass for the money. They're $3,000. I've got a couple that I can move for less, but they're $3K, and it's a killer. Let me go around to the front so you can see it without turning this dang thing off. Okay, there you go. Okay, so you see it's got the same Rowland front panel, that same texture on it. This is same machined out of billet. I mean, look, you see the lines on the top? That's how it's machined. So this is just a loss leader. He does that, basically makes nothing on them to allow people to get into the Rowland family. that wouldn't otherwise be able to, because the other amps they get expensive. Well, it's all relative. And then we got the AGD babies. Okay, these are 85 watts. This is 125 per channel. We've got the Roland powering both the mid, or the woofer and the mid, and then we've got the AGD powering the tweeter. And so it's because the AGD does highs so nice and sweet. Anyway, so the smallest amps I have in the house, except for my single-ended triodes, of course. But so we're powering with those three. Let's listen. Oh yeah, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to listen to my reference DAC first, which is the MPD-8. Okay, this 22 grand, and then we're gonna go to, this is one that I'm testing to see if I'll be carrying it, because I'm looking for you guys for something for the people that just have like $1,000 to spend on a DAC. I've got one here that's made in USA. It's made by the same company that makes this mastering EQ that I use with the tape. I'm about to listen to it for the first time. I've not even heard it yet, but I trust their quality. I know that their stuff sounds really good. And so we're going to first listen to this 22K retail, and then we're going to listen to this, which is my entry level. This is my reference, the highest DAC that I sell, the most highest performance. And then this is the entry level. Has a bunch of cool features, and it's made in USA, which is amazing that this thing can be made in USA 100%, and for $1,000. And we'll listen to it, and we'll compare and see how they sound. So first things first, let's give it a listen to with the Playback designs. And also, we're slightly compromised because we're playing through this thing, which does an unnecessary digital conversion, and it's a cheap Guitar Center piece that's $200. So there's a slight, degradation going on here, but it still sounds pretty killer, all things considered. So let's give it a listen and see how she does. Okay, so ready? Here we go. That's pretty kick-ass, isn't it? I love that tune. Just discovered that band. I'll put the name of it up in the description. Okay, so here's number 3.
Corner
so that concludes the test of the reference, MPD-8. Now I'm going to switch to the dangerous music source. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay, so here we come with the dangerous music source. And I don't know how much this changes when it breaks in. I know the Playback Designs takes 500 hours to break in, and it goes through a complete metamorphosis, and it finally ends up much better than what it sounded like when you first listened to it. I've got other things that don't really seem to have so much of a break in, but the dangerous is not broken in. I probably should have done that, but I'm going to err on the side of that it doesn't need break-in. Maybe they burned it in at the factory. So anyway, so that's one thing to consider. Second of all, it sounds different, of course, right, than the Playback does. So I could adjust for that in that Behringer down there, that piece. I can gain up like the tweeter or the mid or the low, depending. So this one, clearly it seems like it has a little more bass and a little less on top. We could adjust for that, but I'm not going to adjust because I want you to hear just the sonic signature. I'm assuming people don't have a Behringer or an EQ in their rig. So you're just going to hear the way it sounds with the same settings on the crossover, which is also an EQ. So, and we haven't done any EQ. It's a crossover, but, and there is EQ on there, but all we're doing for EQ ourselves here is just using the gain for the different drivers, to adjust how prominent those frequencies are. So anyways, we'll listen to it now and check it out. Damn good, man. That's crazy. Okay, cool. So we're gonna do the next tune. I'm pretty amazed by that thing. Okay, and you know what's the best part? It's $1,000 and it's made in America. Okay, I've got a kick-ass made in USA DAC for $1,000, and you just heard it. It has dual outputs, so you can run your main speakers to amps, and you can run a second pair of amps for subwoofers, or you can run a second zone.
Don't really know where it came from, but it came for you.
Okay, cool. So second tune. Um, I think it's a total success. I think that DAC is kick ass. I really like it. Again, this is the first time I'm listening here. Big John is next to me. What did you think?
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Give
man.
it some time to break in and play it after.
I think when it breaks in, that top end will loosen a little bit, and we get a little more. I mean, it's still smooth, you know, and it's got so you can actually okay. So let's put it this way: this DAC for $1,000, you have zero to worry about it being harsh, and that speaks volumes. It's hard to find $1,000 DAC that doesn't sound digital and harsh, and this one does not sound digital or harsh. It's very smooth, and that is actually, I think that's a strong point for this thing, because most of the time $1,000 DACs sound they have an edgy top on them, you know, and they're hard to listen to, and we're listening to it at a pretty good clip in terms of volume, and it's nice and smooth. So, and you can hear it, I'm sure. So, yeah, so that thing is going to be on the 11 Stereo website. It's the Dangerous Music Source. And again, I don't monetize YouTube. I don't ask you guys for money on Patreon, anything like that. What I do cross my fingers and hope for is that all the work that I put in here for you guys, that you just buy product from me. That's my whole thing. I'm a dealer. I sell hi-fi. I also produce cables, and you know, I'm a cable designer. And so when you guys, and then look, this whole thing, by now you should know that I have a good ear for sound. I know it's hard to tell through the YouTube and all that kind of stuff, but I've got plenty of folks that have purchased that Playback Designs. That's 22 grand right there. I mean, people trust their money with me because I give them results that are great results, where you're not sitting there scratching your head. How come it doesn't sound like it did in the store? You know, no, man, I've been in the business. I know the tricks. I know how to get you the good stuff. I only carry the good stuff. So I'm the dealer with the good stuff, if you know what I mean. So hit me up, yo. For real. I will take care of you. I've got great service, and anything that gets sent from me, you can try it, and you never get stuck with a thing. It's not like no returns, man. You gotta just guess and hope it works in your rig, and you know, if it doesn't, well, go sell it. No, I don't do that. But I expect you to be, you know, honest and righteous, and you know, and all that kind of stuff. So that is another episode. I want to keep on going, but I think we're going to keep on going, and then you all can have fun and go about your merry day, and I will be at you soon, because I think we're done. All right, see you.